Hi, and welcome back to Look Ahead Now. This week, I was in the midst of talking to people, young people mostly, who have either finished school or college or post graduation and are looking at their next career destination. It took me back to my younger days, and it also sort of took me on a rewound back to my career beginnings. So today I thought, why not talk about a certain type of person after I reflected about myself? This is people like me who need to find career direction but don't know where to start. So, as I said, I started this idea of talking today based on where I was about 35 to 40 years ago, when I absolutely did not know whether I should become a copywriter or I should do marine biology or I should do my MBA. All three opportunities were open to me either by qualification or interest or simply an opportunity. So there was, right from that point, a doubt about what career direction I should take. And I did my MBA. And then again, I was tempted to ask the same question: should I go back to the creative field and become a agency copywriter? Or should I get into the marketing world, which I really was excited about? And then a journey began with marketing. I'll talk about that again, which today has culminated in this conversation where uh, the river of my journey started in this direction and then went here, there, still continues onward. So, what is the point here? The point here is this is what 90% of us face. There are a very few, very lucky, chosen few, I would say, very, very few, who begin early enough and keep relentlessly at it and end up achieving what. But for most of us, 99% of us, we somewhat drift along. We vaguely know what we like and what we do want to do. We have aptitude in some things, interest in other things, and yet we end up in careers which most of us never thought we would be in. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we have to move ahead. So today's conversation is going to be a little bit on this topic of what we want to do. We are in this situation, and a few tips that I gathered on my in my long journey of my career. The first thing I would want to probably start with is my own life, where throughout this journey that I talked about, I really didn't have any specific clear mentors. We were in a time of our country or this world's business life where there are no career coaches and life coaches and so on. There are no specific mentors. Companies weren't organizing these kind of things either. So it's all guesstimate and learn on the job and just figure it out as you go along. And there are some places where one won and some places where one lost. As one of my dear and respected mentors and former managing director of my company, Blue Plus, Mr. Chaudhary, wrote in his book, Some Hits and Some Misses. So that's what most of our life is about. The, the three or four things that I want to talk about today really starts with the first thing, that you have to have a moving mind. The power of movement is very critical here. Now, movement means you start somewhere and you have to keep checking, where am I right now? Am I doing the right thing? Where do I want to go at this point in time? What's holding me back? What are my constraints? Am I growing uh, both intellectually, mentally, and monetarily, and in all other aspects? So, this is important. Keep checking yourself. You also have to be moving your skill sets and learning new skills and meeting new people. And we'll talk more about this. Just so you are clear, my career journey started in luggage, which is what the company I joined after my MBA. And somewhere along the line, after about 5 or 6 years, when I was doing very well, I got interested in television because my creative kida was always there behind me. And I joined the television industry, not in the creative side, of course. Uh, so I was in television in different types of TV that I started off in educational television, then I was in the regular satellite television. I was in the corporate side, international TV, I even started a tech company which was into media tech, and that was pretty much my beginning. And finally, literally the rest of my career in media. I moved on from television into multi-channel or multimedia format where I was working in a company with both print and television and radio and everything else. And I then found something exciting, which was my stint with a leading comic book and children's publishing company. I did international travel, media. I even worked in media back office and media BPO. So really, I saw all facets of it. Now, again, let me be very frank. I didn't, deliberately go after each one of them. Each time there was something new to learn, a new opportunity, some positives, some negatives to leave behind. So I went ahead. Am I happy with it? Yes. Am I satisfied with it? Yes. Could I have had more? Yes. But the whole point is, uh, it's a journey. Another guy I know has an even more exciting and interesting journey. He's one of the top engineering technology CEOs in the country today, runs a very large multinational company out of India. You name it, aerospace, defense, IoT, semiconductors, robotics. He's right there in the middle of it. His company owns subsidiaries all over the world in the US, Europe, in Israel, in the hottest of tech environments. And the beauty is he's a social science. He's not an engineer. He didn't do his MTech in robotics from Carnegie Mellon or anything like that. He was working in a sister company, and management liked what he was doing. And they said, why don't we use his skill sets, which are very necessary to make this company grow? And wow, the last 10 years or so, he's really made a difference. So again, I don't think when I first met him, he would have even imagined that he's going to be doing this. Nor did he set out. All he did was what I've seen with everybody else: take risks, learn, keep being agile with his mind, and find something. So, the first thing here I'm talking about is having a moving mind. So, if you have a moving mind, you can track things happening like a radar and find new things to do which are interesting and move your career in a particular direction, even if it is not necessarily a very specific direction you want to be. Second thing is timing. Now, timing matters, but the real question is, can you prepare for it? I say yes and no. Say yes, you can prepare for when the timing is right, but you cannot decide when the time. I was very critical. This is what everybody says, it's all a matter of timing. And he was lucky; he was there at the right time, at the right place. The reality is that he was not. That he was prepared when something happened at that time. Now, preparation means being ready, having the right skill sets, right attitude, and the right mindset to grab an opportunity. Because in the journey, which I call the river of the journey, things will come, opportunities will float by like fish or whatever else you want to catch. And if you have timed yourself right, which means you're prepared, you know how to fish, you know how to cast the net, you know how to do all those things right, then you can catch the time. Opportunities, on the other hand, are also dependent on two things, two phenomena. One phenomenon is called uh, voluntaristic actions, and others called deterministic actions. Complicated, but bear me out. Voluntaristic actions are those things that you can do yourself voluntarily by your own to be good, which is to learn new skills, to prepare yourself to be a better person, and to iron out all your weaknesses so that you can capture opportunities. Opportunities. Deterministic situations are, on the other hand, things that you can't control: pandemics, war, AI coming and taking over your job. Now, this is like, a snake eating its own tail, synchronicity. Uh, Determinism is always happening. The whole universe is deterministic. It keeps, things keep happening. But we have to voluntarily be ready because the waves will always come, but we'll have to ride the wave and not fall into the wave. So, understanding this determinism, voluntarism phenomena and the interplay between them will help you understand how to be prepared when you have the right opportunity. And that is what I call timing. So, the second thing we're talking about, the first was movement, and the second was timing. But to small thing that I'd add here is You can do a personal SWOT. I think everybody knows what it is, and try to make sure that you're on top of the game as much as possible. Let's move on to the third thing. The opportunity is there. Okay, the timing is right, and the opportunity is there, and then comes what is called smart decision making. The third thing. So if you have planned your career, then your decisions are pretty much good because you already decided what to do, and when something happens, you know what to do. But for most people, when it's not planned and an opportunity comes, how do you take it? Here, I'll again defer to a style of behavior that I thought is useful to adopt, and that's Daniel Kahneman's concept of system one and system two thinking. So most of you, many of you would have read about this, but for the sake of those who have not, I will sort of repeat it. System one thinking, as Kahneman says, is fast, emotional, and reactive. It's instinctive. System two thinking is slow, rational, and reflective. It comes from reflection. Typically, what happens when we are faced with something unusual, something quick, something sudden, we think instinctively and react instinctively and often take decisions instinctively. That's not what you should do when you have a career situation. I'll give you an example. For example, you have received an offer from Dubai for a job that offers you a 5x salary, takes you straight from VP to CEO or its equivalent, it house, big car, everything that you've dreamed of. And you can really make your life. But you can have two types of instinctive, reactive thoughts. Oh my God, uh, I just have 15 days to decide. My kids are in middle school. Is it the right time to uproot them? What if I don't do well and I have to come back? It'll be both a personal failure and affect all my family members. I don't know about this company because I got the offer from a headhunter, and really I hadn't learned much about them. I don't know anybody who works there, so much at risk. The other instinctive thing is, wow, yeah, I got the job, 5x money, tax free. I'm going to really enjoy it and jump into it. Neither of these decisions are right. The right decision is to use first react by actually using system two, which is not the reactive model, and ask yourself some very sensible questions. Can I quickly, in the 15 days that I have to take a call, uh, check the company's credibility, verify it by finding people who work there, looking up the internet and so on? Can I make some fallback plans with my family, talk to my partner and say that, look, we can go now. Maybe I'll go and then set up things, and you can come when the school year is over. That'll give me a better chance to find better schools for the kids and so on, if that is the situation that bothers you. You can also use this time to figure out what are the worst case scenarios. What if this doesn't work? What if that doesn't work? And so on. So if you do all this reflection and use system two thinking, then you can beat the system one thinking and take a good decision. Again, we're talking about this because such things happen to people who haven't ever thought that they're going to Dubai, or they're getting an offer to relocate to Korea or something like that. More and more happening today in globalized world, and with Indian companies and Indians working everywhere. So I also face these choices, and I've made some terrible decisions. Let me be frank. I was offered opportunities to head some iconic businesses, which I reactively left, or I instinctively agreed to something that I should not have. I, be honest, I have to regret some of those. I'm not in a position to say that I cannot regret it, but I don't say that, oh, everything ended because of that. But in hindsight, if I knew how to think better and take better decisions in those younger days, uh, I may have had a different trajectory, not saying a better trajectory, but a more interesting trajectory. The third point that I talk about here is the danger of comparison. This comes with us from our early childhood. The whole concept of Mishra's beta. It's a common meme. They did better than you. He got better marks than you. He came first. You didn't go to IIT, so on and so forth. So we are conditioned to compare ourselves for better or for worse. And this comparison continues in our workplace and our careers. Today, though, it is relentless. I mean, you look at social media and the deluge of content. The only thing they throw at you really is so and so is under 40 CEO, so and so's 30 under 30 best. And you seem to be under pressure. What am I doing? Nothing's happening to me. So, uh, This danger of comparison is only increasing day by day, and when it should not. And the pressure of career is also increasing. So it wasn't so bad in our time when we really didn't have anything to compare ourselves with except two or three people around us. And life was pretty easier, I guess. So you cannot look at one Tendulkar and one Obama and say, oh look, they were very clear when they were very young what to do, and that's why by 20, 25 they had achieved this, and by 40 they were president, and so on and so forth. Yes, they may have done so, and there will always be a few outliers in this world, will continue to be so. But for most of us, we are not in a Netflix biopic. We're living in what I call the messy middle. This is a concept called social comparison theory. There's a lot about it. And essentially, we judge our progress by referring to other people's progress. Sometimes we say, we're better than these guys. Sometimes we say, oh, they are better than us. This will happen. What is important here is, again, because we're talking about people who, or many people, who don't have very specific career directions, or career directions are not so well laid out for many of us. We can learn from the paths that these people have taken. We'll learn from what good things they've done and what they've not done, and use those principles wherever they apply, and try to find better opportunities and make the most of better opportunities so that you can craft what I call your version of success. So that's the fourth thing in this list of things for people whose careers don't have a specific direction. The fifth thing is, again, something trivial, but most people ignore it. And that's networks. If there's one thing I've learned, and one thing that has happened to me actually, is that the best jobs don't appear in job boards. They don't come from the headhunters. The best jobs just exist under the surface. They're subliminal. And if you meet the right people, you know the right people, you're present in the right places, then the jobs will come to you somehow. You will get to talk to somebody. You'll say, oh, why don't you look at this opening in our company? Or somebody will say, look, hey, remember we met at the airport the other day. I really like what you were saying. Why don't you talk to us about this? You may find entrepreneurial opportunities. You may find investors. You'll find them in networks. Now, networks are of very, very many kinds, and there's a whole body of knowledge around that. I'm not going to get into that. It requires a few things. You need to be skilled to learn how to network. You can't just go, shaking hands by the dozen and spamming everybody on LinkedIn and so on. There's a skill and an art that you should slowly pick up. Essentially, keep meeting more and more people in different. And the other warning is, don't meet the same people in the same industry. If you're in the petrochem industry, keep meeting people in the petrochem industry, but meet them in different roles, different companies, different levels, and go beyond that into allied industries and so on, process industries. Um, who knows what you'll find, right? Like I told you, the example of my friend, social sciences graduate, nothing to do with tech jobs, and now heading one of India's most fantastic tech companies. So it's a skill. All of us won't have it, but if you pick up some of it, you'll be better than not having it. And finally, and that's the last word for everything, all this is fine. If you don't have one thing, none of this will work. And if you have none of that, even then this might work. What's that? That's reputation. So you don't have a dream job, you don't know what you want to be, but you have to keep being something. And that something is, you have to be a good person. You have to be known to be honest, smart, reliable, good to work with, sensible, curious, empathetic. There are lots of words. I've given you a set of words. I'm sure if you use a chat GPT or something, you will find more words or more concepts around this. But that is really your testimonial. It's really what will make you stand out. And your reputation is essentially what people will talk about you behind your back when you're not there, in your absence, or among themselves. So if people say that, Vijay is a nice guy to be with, I hope they're saying this. And he's definitely somebody you can rely on. That helps you somewhere, somehow in your career. Even if you didn't do all the other things, this could somehow work. And this will anyway work and has to work if none of those other things are done. So work on your reputation. And it's a common sense thing again. Most of these things are common sense, but it's a package and you have to work on all of these. And I'm saying all this because if you do all these things right, then you can find a career and a satisfying life for yourself. in spite of not having a direction from where you began, or even a direction where you are halfway through. So, to summarize what I said, have a mobile mindset, grow, explore, and learn. Number two, keep timing in mind, prepare for the opportunity, even if it hasn't arrived. Make smart decisions, balance emotion and reason, balance reason and instinct. Don't get into a comparison trap. Run your own race. Learn from other skill sets, but run your own race. Number five, build your reputation and your networks. The networks will open your door. Your reputation will create better networks. And finally, don't beat yourself. No one has overnight success, even those people who have had overnight success. I was reading in the paper the other day about this foods company being sold, and everyone, we were discussing so quickly they managed to, get a 4,000 crore or 3,000 crore valuation. The reality is, after I read about them, is that they started 20 years ago, and we didn't see the slog of the first 18 years. We just saw this whole valuation thing in the last 2 years. So there's no such thing as overnight success. There is, but it calls for a lifetime of work. So that lifetime can begin at age 6 for some people, it can begin at 25 for some others. Keep at it and stay smart, start somewhere and keep. So thank you for listening to this small session about how to find career direction when you don't have one, and share some of these ideas and thoughts. Maybe share with us some other views that you have on this topic, and let's make the world a happier place for everyone in the workplace. See you next time.